Anyway, on to Meghan and the and the Duchess. She celebrated her 44th birthday this week, and her lifestyle brand, As Ever, posted a tribute with the caption reading as follows: "Celebrating the woman behind it all, she pours her heart, vision and magic touch into every detail, and today we raise a glass to her. Happy birthday to our founder, Meghan." Now, this post came under criticism. Angela, what for?
Because she probably wrote it herself. It smacks of Meghan, doesn't it? And, you know, lots of the comments have said this is so indulgent. This is a woman who controls everything. So, of course, she will have written this. This is her company. This is the woman that, you know, she can't leave anything to chance. So I think that if it wasn't written by her, it was certainly approved by her. And it's a bit nauseating, isn't it? But you know what? I think we're about to see the tables turn with Meghan. I think the launch of her wine, I think there's things bubbling with Netflix. I've done a deep dive and looked into her, into the money that she could potentially be spinning from her business. And I think Netflix is going to renew the deal. I think she's going to become a massive commercial success, a la Gwyneth. And look, I know it's only selling jam, but I think that she's looking jolly happy with herself. And I think it's because she can see plenty of dollar signs ahead of her. So happy birthday.
Well, we'll see. Definitely one to watch. Angela, still with you. And look, we know that Meghan has previously had a legal scuffle with her half-sister Samantha. We understand they may be heading to court again. What's the claim this time?
Yeah, this is really unusual that this should be happening. Of course, Samantha took a case to court and it went before a judge in 2004. The judge threw it out of court and said what her claim largely was that Meghan, in saying that she grew up as a single child, that she caused humiliation and embarrassment for Samantha, who was, of course, her half-sister. The judge at that time turned around and said, well, it's an opinion of Meghan. She's allowed to, freedom of speech in America. You're allowed to say things that you want. This was not considered defamation, but Samantha has escalated this. She's taking it back to an appeal court and it's being re-examined again. She's hoping it will go before a 3-judge panel and that she'll have a better outcome, but it seems unlikely.
Again, we will see. Now, Louise, we've spoken a number of times on this show about the allegations of bullying levelled at Meghan. And in a podcast this week, royal author Valentine Lowe, he's given his view as why it took so long for some of them to come forward. So what's the reason, and does that sound right to you?
Look, it does sound right to me. I mean, Valentine Lowe is very respected in sort of royal circles. He's the former royal correspondent for The Times in the UK. And as you say, he was on this podcast where he said that staff had waited more than 2.5 years to actually come forward or talk about the bullying allegations because they were so worried about revenge from Meghan. I think the term was her capacity for revenge. They were really worried that, beyond working for her and the alleged torment of doing that their private lives, when they tried to slip back into obscurity, away from the media spotlight, away from any kind of connection with her, that she would, take her revenge on them for speaking out. So I guess with Valentine Lowe, the information's always, absolutely, right on the money in my book, and a lot of the allegations in his own book, which he wrote in 2022, were backed up by stories in The Hollywood Reporter and I think there was a few other sort of publications. Vanity Fair was one of them, in which they sort of almost described her as a bit of a Lady Macbeth character who went after people and was an absolute nightmare to work for. Again, all allegations, and her parties have since refuted them and said it's all part of a vendetta against her ever since she married Harry. But yeah, I do really feel for these people if they've been bullied, if their allegations are correct, and they're sort of still hiding in the shadows because they're worried about what would happen if they spoke out, which is a terrible position for them to be in.